all of your forwarding and freight shipping needs. We at Trin Forwarding International are committed to product delivery. At Trin Forwarding, we have the much needed experience, professionalism, and due diligence in freight forwarding, shipping, and cargoes. We deliver with timeliness and precision. You can reach out to us at our Caribbean office in Trinidad and Tobago, telephone number 868-624-6250, or our Florida USA office at 305-887-9722.
Alhamdulillah, for free copies of the Holy Quran, contact Alhikmat Caribbean office at 1-868-325-8276. You can also follow us on Alhikmat TV, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc. For more information, you can also contact Alhikmat's Florida USA office. You can visit our website at www.alhikmat.com or call us at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158.
Allah, ya Allah, ya Allah, His throne extends over the heaven.
It's savings and big discounts when you shop at Fens nationwide. Upgrade your home or treat yourself to something special. Enjoy store-wide savings on furniture, appliances, electronics, bedroom, and so much more when you shop at Fens of Marbella, Chaguanas, Pinal, and Piaco. Visit us in store for more information or call 650-FENS, that's 650-3367, or check us out on Facebook, Fens of Trinidad and Tobago, serving generations.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Who is Who in America on Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. We're very fortunate to have with us on today's program Mr. Sajann Kurian. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sajann.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me.
Alaikum assalam, and it's a pleasure to have you. And to our viewers out there, Mr. Sajann, as is known here in America, Sajann, is a well-known public figure. He's an activist, he's a community leader, real community leader, a man who wears many caps. He's also a cardiovascular interventional assistant, and we'll ask him all about that, where he does that, where he works in the medical field, etc. He's the president of AAPI, and I know that's a long name, but we'll have him explain what is the AAPI. As far as I am concerned here, it's Asian American Pacific Islander. So stay tuned as we talk to Mr. Sajann Kurian about his background, his history, his vision for the future here in the United States of America. And I'm sure those of you who are viewing this program from different countries worldwide, you will benefit a lot. You will be motivated by the background of Mr. Sajann. I've come to know him many years now. We have known each other at least more than 10-15 years or so, and I have been very much impressed with his community services. Whenever he organizes a program, at his programs there will always be interfaith leaders, commissioners, mayors, community leaders. So he has the call, and I've seen him personally pull these kind of programs together in hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, bringing all the city officials and elected officials to the board to discuss matters and have community events. So we're talking to a man with a wonderful community background. So welcome to the show again, Mr. Sajann Kurian. And how do you prefer me call you, Sajann or Sajann?
Either or is fine. People call me, people in family call me Sajann, and people in the community know me as in both ways. Sajann is where the American community knows me, but either or, I accept it.
So as a family member, I'll call you Sajann.
Please do. I'm happy to have you.
Good. It is really a pleasure to have you on the program, to get you to come on. It has been a long time now that we really wanted you to come on the program, and finally it's happening. And I'm sure, again, as I said before, our viewers would really, really benefit after hearing your background and your progress in life, etc. Before we get into your historic background, and when I say that, I really want to know a little bit about, your India background. I know you were born in Goa. You grew up in Bombay. Your father was a politician, freedom fighter. I'm very interested. I've always been very, 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 very motivated by India politics and India's democratic power, etc., because India is the largest democratic country in the world. So you come in from that background and having that kind of influence here in America, being able to set up the Gandhi Square in Delhi. I mean, very influential things you've been part of. So there are many ways we can start. But before we get into all these community things, let's get this off the way. I want to know a little bit about your medical background before we get into that little history and community works, and you running hopefully for the Florida House of Representatives. So many things we got to talk about, Mr. Sajann. It's going to be interesting. Tell us which hospital, where you work, and what do you do exactly as a cardiovascular interventional assistant.
First of all, I want to thank all the viewers, and thank you, Shaikh Shafayat. It's a humbling experience. Ever since I've known you, we have hit it off, because I like coming to the iftar that you organize. I mean, and the community in general. To answer your question, I work at Florida Medical Center. That is in Oakland Park in Fort Lauderdale, in Lauderdale Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
I work. My boss is Dr. Awais Humayun, and multiple other electrophysiology specialists. He's one of the leading electrophysiologists in cardiology department, one of the best in the United States. What I do there is your question. What I do is we fix irregular heart rhythms, atrial fibrillation that's what we call it. And for the viewers, it's a heart condition that controls controls how your heart performs. Your muscles are all controlled by electrical conductions, and if there's a different variation, we try to fix it in normal terms, if at all we can say that. So that's what I do for a living, and I assist them with all the support systems, meaning it starts from we call it catheters. We go in through the groin and try to go into the heart and try to fix things where it's abnormal. So in layman terms, we are the electricians and the plumbers for the heart.
Wow. So therefore, if we have anyone or we know anyone who need that sort of medical treatment or dealing with the plumbing and the electrical aspects of the heart, as you put it, and they are at Florida Medical Center here, and that's right off the turnpike. Every time you drive the turnpike, you see this. So anyone in that area, we can always contact you to put in a good word for any one of our community people in that at that hospital, right?
As a matter of fact, I think I have had the privilege and the blessing of serving your family too. So
yes, I remember that clearly, that you have been there with some of our immediate relatives who have been at the hospital, and you were very kind and really, really, really very, very courteous in your service and assistance to them. So it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you come on board and assist in wherever you are blessed with. So, if you see me looking at this direction here, I'm basically looking at you on a big screen, So, don't think I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the big screen with you across here, so I can get a better look, and the viewers can see it from a studio point of view. All right. So there are times the cameras will flip accordingly. So tell us, my brother, tell us a little bit about your background in India, where you came from. I want to hear about where you came from briefly. There are people from all over the world, as I said, who look at this show. Muslims, non-Muslims, Christians, Jews, everybody. So it will be very interesting for them to know where you came from and your progress and achievement here in the United States of America. And I really want to hear a little bit about your father. So while you're doing that, I may just cut in and out, thinking like the audience and the viewers. I may ask questions as you go ahead so that the viewers will have a better understanding on what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Where do you want me to start?
Tell us where you were born and you're growing up
I was born in Goa, which was a Portuguese colony at that point. So, under the British rule, Goa was one of those states that was occupied by the Portuguese government. So my father was a freedom fighter during that time, and that's where all this experience comes from, because ever since I was born, I've seen my father's activism to make sure that he is available for the people 24/7. And that's what I proclaim myself to. Those are the examples that I take from my father or my mother. Both of them were community activists. So we lived under oppression all our lives. So
Wow.
ever since yes. So it wasn't easy because, we were limited to go out of the house, everything. So it was hard for us to make ends meet at that point. So, we lived in real hardship at that time, where the government was against us, and we tried to balance everything. My parents were very much involved with our daily lives, even though we lived under oppression. But they made sure that we were all educated. So that was the biggest thing that was a blessing for us.
And I know politics can be very, very interesting in India. OMG, as they would say it. I mean, and I could understand, as your father being a freedom fighter, what kind of restrictions you guys would have had to go through growing up with your father being in the political arena and being a freedom fighter. You had to really dot your I's and cross your T's.
No, he was in jail. I mean, he was in jail multiple times because he was involved in strikes. He was a union leader, multiple things. I mean, it was hard for us because every time he went to jail, I mean, we never knew whether he was going to come back. But the problem is, he was still a fighter. I mean, I don't think in our daily lives we see any of those activism. So when I look at all the activism, I mean, I say this is nothing. I've seen the worst.
So what year are we talking about? What year are we talking about?
These are in the early 70s. During that time, so late 60s, 70s. During that's when we got that part of India liberated.
Wow, it's interesting. I was in India around that time, 1975. That's when I was studying in India. And I've always heard about Bombay to Goa, but I've only been to Bombay. I've never been to Goa. But now that you came from Goa, I'll have to find a reason to visit Goa.
No, because of the fear of our family being targeted, because we were expats. Technically, my parents are from South India, which is Kerala. So, I mean, I know the language, I know the culture, but my parents settled in Goa. So that happens to be just like us immigrants here, but what we realize. So Goa was a foreign country, I mean, if I may say so, at that point, before it got liberated from the Portuguese culture, I mean, government. So, I know what it means. So I've lived that through the 70s before I migrated to the United States. So I know and then the education system, because at that point, Portuguese was my first language till the fourth grade in Goa. So, and the higher education was from Pune University, which was in Mumbai. So I had to move to Mumbai, or at that point it was Bombay, to get myself educated. And we were fortunate enough that my dad actually moved us from there. Plus, also we had a fear of um, our family being targeted by extremists at that point. So so we had to leave under a condition that my mother said, and as long as my older brother stays with my father, my mother, my sister, and we moved away from that place for fear of us not being harmed. So that's a little story from us. So during the
Wow.
freedom movement, there are a lot of locals that was against us.
That is interesting. That is interesting. So tell us a little bit now. So, what motivated you to come to the United States of America?
Well, um, when I mean during my teenager lifestyle, I mean, it was we were in a stage where we had hard times in our lives because uh, we had it was hard to meet, you know, with our requirements for daily living. So my father died when I was like in my late teens. Uh, he was 54 years old, and my brother and my sister wanted to have their education, so I had to drop out of college. So at that point, my father passed away, so somebody had to take over and take care of my mother. So so my brother had to. So both of them went to medical school. So for that to happen, in India, it was, it's who you know there. So
Mm-hmm,
with my
mm-hmm,
father's
mm-hmm.
background, so they had to get into private medical school. Private medical school entails where you have to pay some capitation to get into the medical school, and then I had to make things happen. So I had to sacrifice. So I
Wow.
moved. Yes. So I dropped out of college, did what I have to, and then once they graduated, it was time for me to come. I mean, my mother said, "Hey, you don't have anything here in in India, because at that time there's no opportunities if you're not educated, or even if you're educated, there's limited opportunities. That's why America was the best option at that point for me to make ends meet, if we say that. So that's why I came to America with $50 in my pocket. The ticket was the only thing that I had, and my father's principles and morals and my parents, what they taught me. He said, "Hey, you know what? Go out." My mother said, "Go out there. You're a good man. You've done enough. I think there's nothing here India can offer you. So, you've got a huge potential. Go out there and see. Make best of what the family has taught you." So I came here in 1991, November. And from there, there's a lot more to it. So starting from selling newspapers to who I am today,
Wow. And
being.
I did see in your bio that you are a certified radiologist, right?
Yes, I'm a certified radiology technologist, which is basically X-ray technician. So that was the only option at that point because I couldn't afford to go to a med school today. Which is offered today.
But you are the people who make most of the money nowadays because everybody need you. You know, nowadays when you look at what goes on in the hospitals, they all wait on the radiologist technician to tell them what's going on.
Yes.
And
So I was fortunate to. I'm sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be in a healthcare industry. At that point, I did sign up to go to med school, which at that point, a radiologist actually told me, hey, you know what? By the time you graduate, it's going to cost you over $1 million by the time I get the specialty. So why don't you, because you're good with your hands, you have a gift that none of us have. So I said, why not? So, and I pursued that and I worked my way up from there. My life started off as a janitor, working in a Burger King store to applying to, went to night school to keep up with my education because none of the paperwork was transferred from India to here. It was red tape. Well, at that point, there was no connection system what we have today.
And
So
that is so interesting because it's people like you and your background that really, teach the world what it is like to come from zero to a hero. That now you're a radiologist technician, you're connected with all these politicians, all these commissioners, state reps, leaders, and soon you may just be one of the Florida representative in the House of Representatives here. But you know what? It's interesting, really, really interesting. And I think that's why we like to talk to people like you on this show so that you can motivate our viewers throughout the world, where you came from, your background, and how you struggled through to be successful and be a man of who you are now in the community and the society here in the United States of America. So we got to go on a short break. When we come back, we want to continue our conversation on your connections, political connections, community services. I know that you served on a lot of boards and a lot of community organizations, etc. And you were very influential in establishing the Gandhi Center in Davis City here in South Florida. We want to hear all about that. We want to let the world know that people who dream of things, their dream can come true. So to our viewers out there, stay tuned. We're talking to Mr. Sajann Korean, a man with an interesting background, great vision for the future, great community leader. Stay tuned. When we come back, we will continue this conversation with him, inshallah.
Dawah and Interfaith Institute presents for the first time in U.S.A. Dawah and Interfaith training with education in world religions from religious professors and spiritual leaders of different faiths. This is a 6-month weekend course designed for brothers and sisters local, national, and international who are seeking to learn the importance of dawah and better understanding of faith and cultures. For more information, please contact 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158. You can also contact via email at alhikmat@alhikmat.com or visit our website www.alhikmat.com. Alhamdulillah, for free copies of the Holy Quran, contact Alhikmat Caribbean office at 1-868-325-8276. You can also follow us on Alhikmat TV, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc. For more information, you can also contact Alhikmat's Florida USA office. You can visit our website at www.alhikmat.com or call us at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158.
Allah, ya Allah, ya Allah, His throne
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Who is Who in America on Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. Once more, it is a pleasure and honor to have with us on today's show Mr. Sajann who, as we mentioned in the first segment, is a cardiovascular interventional assistant. He's a radiologist, a technician in the medical field. Thank God he has attained and achieved great success. And now we want to talk a little bit about his community life. And talking about that, Mr. Sajann, I want to mention in one of the programs you had organized, and I think it was the Gandhi Square Foundation program when we had the opening of the Gandhi Square. Was it that program you had someone from the India Embassy in Atlanta? I don't know, was it Consul General or the ambassador or something to that effect? I don't remember clearly.
Yeah, we had an interfaith gathering at that point. So we had the Indian Consul General for the Interfaith program, and we have had multiple programs which you were also invited because it was an interfaith. So we had the Muslim community, the Hindu community, the Jewish community, and the Christian community all come together because we have to bring awareness as to who we are as a community together. And unless we bring that together, local people do not understand. I mean, even though they are aware of it, I was honored to be a part of the program where I had the seventh statue of Mahatma Gandhi. Why I chose it? People who do not know Mahatma Gandhi was, I go by his principles. Be the change in the world you need to be. So that's his version of trying to say that, if you want to be someone, you have to be the change. Otherwise, you have to show it. You can't talk about it. You got to walk the walk. And that's the principle that I always, and my parents always taught me through the freedom. It doesn't have to be a violent affair to bring all the communities together. It could be ahimsa. Ahimsa is a word that is non-violence. So even with the non-violent movement, you can get that together. But anyway.
So am I correct to say that I think somewhere I read that you were also part of the recreation advisory board for one of the district here in South Florida? Yes,
sir. I have been on the Parks and Rec advisory board, where what we see now, the corrections in all our parks to make sure that we meet up with the standards that our community and our children and our families enjoy. At first, in our parks, we never had any restrictions or any changes. It was just a park. It wasn't anything that was catered to our children, pets, or even families. So nowadays, if you see, our parks are catered to the seniors, children, pets, and all alike. There's everything for there's something for everyone. So, and if you find in South Florida right now, if you see anything that needs to be changed, let me know.
Go to
that city. We have 31 cities in Broward County, and even if it's Miami-Dade, I know the mayor. I can make sure that I can have an outreach to anywhere in the 67 counties in the state of Florida. We have an outreach there.
Wow. Well, that is interesting. That is really good to know. I mean, when we have a man like you and that level of the advisory capacity with the recreation, parks and recreation here in Broward County, I mean, it's always good to know people in different levels that we can be of some help to the community as the need arises. So thank you very much for that opportunity if we need to recommend, suggest, or anything. So tell us a little bit now about your I don't know, you want to tell us what motivated you to establish the Gandhi statue, or do we where do you want to go from there?
Mahatma Gandhi, like I said, I mean, everyone knows. You look at Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, they were all together in South Africa. So he knew, we go by his principles. A lot of people go by his principles where we all bring people together. His basic idea of living was, or attaining something was peace and harmony. And it's interesting because life challenges make us as different individuals. So, what we have to do, it's not like the religion where we pray and whatever religion we practice. But the idea is to make sure that we attain something through a peaceful manner. So the idea was, why not bring that icon? Because I don't think there's a Mahatma Gandhi statue here in the United States that is owned by him. So I approached the Mayor Judy Paul, who was the mayor of Davie Township. So her and I talked about it. So she said, make a presentation to the city council, and I took it from there. I made that ask for the people, for all people of Florida, and for all our communities, because that's an icon that we need to. Davie, I picked Davie only because Davie was a place in the map which is controlled by supremacists, if I may say so.
And that is what is very, very interesting for you to be able to get the Gandhi Square established in Davie City. I mean, it is phenomenal.
Out of the 31 cities, I picked Davie only because that was the city that I want to establish peace and harmony and show them we are united as a community. As an interfaith advocate, I thought that was the best place for us to do that. And that is the only statue in the United States that is named. The land is owned by Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
It was donated by the city. And there is a 42nd street named in the world. 42nd street is also Gandhi Street. So it has got a lot of historical value there.
And I think you are very, very, very blessed, very, very much chosen to be part of making something like that happen here in the United States of America.
No, it's not just me. I mean, it takes a village, right? So
yes.
There's a lot of people behind the scenes, including yourself, your prayers, your support system. Unless we have all that people, the right connect, meaning our community leaders. I mean, I'm not here. I represent our whole community, our whole South Asian community.
Talking about South Asian community, I know I gotta be interrupting you all the time, but what does this Asian American Pacific Islander organization is all about? And I see you have South Asian Caucus of Florida, because I know we're gonna run on time, so I'm trying to get as much as possible in this show. So tell us in connection to what you're saying there.
So. We have, I see there was no representation from the Asian community.
Yeah.
So, that's when this actually started before even the last presidential or the prior I want to say during much before Obama wanted to come in. And and I realized we meaning us people, minority people, do not have representation. And the only best way that I thought at that point was, I mean, instead of reaching out to the local elected officials, how do we go in as a community and try to, because every community is different. We have different issues, different religion, different thought process, different culture. To bring it all together, a caucus, an Asian caucus unites us. And I mean, we have different Caribbean values that still do have migration from Asian community,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody who understands that. I understand that, and I know 7 different languages, multiple cultures and stuff. So someone who can relate. So I founded this, and I thought this would be best, where people can reach out to me. And when we go as a caucus, it does matter because we make endorsements to all the elected officials before they get elected. We do the screening process so that we hold them accountable. Because if they don't listen to us, then we do have some say. Unless we have a say on the table, we can talk everything. It's a matter of being on the table. If not, you're nobody.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a huge voice as Asians. Asians meaning we have a huge migration from the Caribbean community. Trinidad, Suriname, all that area. So I'll be visiting Guyana, Trinidad, and Suriname. The consulate has actually offered me to go there and meet with the people and see what is needed there, so that we can reach out to the community and see what we can do to make a difference. You see, that's what I mean. It's not about me being in a political arena. We have to meet the people at their level. Most of the politicians, what happens is once they get elected, they forget about the people because they're too busy. But I don't know doing what. To me, my biggest motto is to make sure that I'm available for the people 24/7. Whenever you call me, I never have a missed call. If at all you missed a call, either I'm at the hospital scrubbed in to do a procedure, or I call you back within the next minute as soon as I see the phone. So those are things that not many. Now I've started a free clinic. That's the biggest thing that I plan to do. Offer services for the people who are in need. Health is something that is not somebody who, not everybody has that expertise. Now, being in healthcare, that is something, and in being in the union, I've seen a lot of people do not have insurance. The best thing that a person can do is health. To me, health is wealth. So the biggest thing that you can offer is somebody their own well-being in health.
And you being the expert in the health department, knowing all these people and all these doctors and all these different areas, I mean, what else? That's the opportunity, and that's the time to bring them on board to coordinate.
How do you think the Surgeon General for the United States is an Indian? So how do you think that happened? So we make sure that people are at the right places, and he's from Miami. So
Wow.
So of course we do have Vice President Kamala Harris. So all we need Asian representation. You went to India, you needed visa or passport services. Even there's a backlog of passport services. I do help people get all that done. If you need to travel anywhere, unless you're known to, or if you know the protocol, how the government works, there are a lot of things we can do.
So are we talking about the Indian government here or the American government?
I am on bilateral relationships. I build just not India. We work with UAE. We work with other governments. Bilateral relationship, intergovernment relation is my biggest expertise, because we got to connect with different governments to make sure that we bring businesses together. We do communities together, cultures together. We educate them. That is the major criteria. That is the biggest thing that I try to rely on.
Very interesting. Listen, listeners. That's why we are blessed to have you on the show, because you're a man from different walks of life and a true community leader where you can really help people. And that's what community leadership is all about, being able to utilize what God has blessed you with, the ability, the potential, the capability, and to help other people. That's where the give back comes from. Well, keep me also in touch with your Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, Caribbean, Indo-Caribbean kind of connection, and we can see where we can come in when you have that whatever potential trip to the Caribbean, and how India and how you here in America can help that part of the world with their history and their geographical settings, etc. All right.
The Prime Minister of Suriname has actually invited me to come there to start a healthcare program there. So that will be something that I will be pursuing, see if at all I can do. My brother, he is the global chair for the medical doctors. So we're all trying to get everything together, so that there's a poverty line there, that there's a need for people. So we're trying to do something on a humanitarian grounds.
That will be interesting, because as you know, of course, that in Guyana and Trinidad, there are also a lot of doctors from India. So, and a lot of people, of course, they got the India history, and we don't want to get into that. Everyone knows of the India history. But we got to go on a short break. And when we come back, we want to get into now a little bit of that political arena. What motivated you to be a representative or to run for that seat as a Florida representative? What motivated you? What's the plan? What you have in mind, and some of your political connection with some of these elected officials here in South Florida. So when we come back, we want to touch base on that. So to our viewers out there, stay tuned. When we come back, we'll continue this very, very interesting conversation with Mr. Sajann Korean, a man of who wear different caps, a very, very influential personality here in South Florida and in the United States of America. Stay tuned when we come back, inshallah.
In the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 67, Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, wa illam taf'al, fama balagta risalatahu. Very deep. Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to spread the message of the Quran. And he told the Prophet, and if you do not spread the message, you did not fulfill the mission of the messenger. So you and I are followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we can afford one Quran, help us join in distributing the Quran. So if you can't afford one Quran, do it. $3. 10 Quran, $30. 100 Quran, $300.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Who is Who in America on Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. We are very fortunate to have with us on this show today Mr. Sajann Korean, known as Sajann Korean here in the United States of America. But as he said in the opening of this program, he said most of his family members know him as Sajann. And I like the example. It's a tomatoes kind of statement here. Schedule and schedule. So you got to understand when it comes to language in the British and Indian America, the language has a different accent as it changes from British to American and from American to British. And Mr. Sajann, that is where we get into all these schedule, scenario, and accent, and especially people from India who got a Caribbean base, got American, Britain. The accent changes, and we wonder what is really happening, but it's because of that British American change in English. I mean, COLOR and COLOUR and PROGRAMME and PROGRAM. It's how it is. But when you're international, that's where we learn to adjust with the language. And talking about that, as we adjust with the language, I try to tell people we learn to adjust with language in different countries, but we do not learn to adjust with people of different culture, different faiths, and different backgrounds. That's a very sad thing. People study languages and understand the language of different countries. And you will go in America and pronounce it the American way. You'll go in Britain, pronounce it the Britain way. But when you meet people of different culture and different races and different, faiths, we don't know to live and adjust and understand other people. And that's very sad. That's very sad. We learn everything else, but we do not learn about human beings of whom we are. But anyhow, I don't want to get into a lecture here on an interfaith program. I mean, I know you are an interfaith specialist. We're all into this interfaith community services, and that's wonderful. But if you want to spend about a minute or two and tell us of the importance of interfaith, that might be really, really beneficial coming from someone like you. And then we're going to continue on what motivated you to want to run for the Florida House of Representatives here in Florida. And I see here in your background that Sajann served as a legislative district aide to 2 Florida representatives from 2012 to 2015. And that might be interesting to hear a little bit about that in the political arena side. We spoke about your history, we spoke about health, we spoke about community. It's important to understand the politics. America is big into politics, you know what I mean? So it's nice to know your political involvement also. So let us, in about 2 or 3 minutes, our viewers know from your perspective how important interfaith relationship is.
Interfaith religion. Thank you for you rightfully said adjustment to cultures is very important. For us, we talk about different things, but ask to the viewers. I always tell them you can complain, but if you cannot get engaged with the civic society, we can always complain in our house, but you got to go out there, get yourself involved in the locals. Otherwise, you're nobody. We can talk all we want at home, but if you want to make change, you have to be the change yourself to get out there and get something done. And that's exactly why I wanted to say I wasn't talking politics. If you're not somebody, you're nobody here. It depends on. So that's why I ran for office. I helped in every 31 cities in Broward County and beyond. What I did was I made sure that I helped all the commissioners, mayors, county commissioners, everybody representing us as minority, and tell them these are the issues that matters to us. Telling for each and every viewers that we have that go out there and meet the commissioners, get involved. And that is why I said, you know what, if I don't run, people are never going to take me. It cost me a lot of money. I had to deplete all my savings. It's for all the viewers and the people that I represent. And it took me to a different level where, who I am today, because I don't need anything. It's just peace, happiness, nothing else. And I'm available 24/7.
So you are on the verge of running again?
I am planning to if I'm blessed. So I've got a couple of options. I'm looking at it, but nothing is finalized yet. So alhamdulillah, if I get the blessings, time will tell. Because
As we say, inshallah, inshallah.
yeah, inshallah. If that happens, you will be the first to know. I will be coming back here on Al-Hikmat TV, trying to make that. But the biggest thing is, it doesn't matter if you want to run, but you have to run on an open seat. I do not want to run against anybody because everybody, they are all my friends. If it's an open seat, I will run. And that's what I'm looking at. So the opportunity, we have to still stay engaged. Again, I want to tell the viewers out there that my goal is not for holding office. You have to be meaningful, because whatever gods we believe in, there's always a writing that if you're representing the people, you have to be unbiased, non-biased in trying to represent the people. And we don't see that in politics nowadays. But I want to make a difference.
Yeah,
if I'm good at it.
You are really, really right. So right. A lot of people, when they get into politics, it's all about the seat and the position, and not the people anymore. But you got a history of being a community leader. Huh?
Yeah, I do that without even being elected. So it doesn't matter to me.
Yes, you got a history of being a community leader. You're in the health field. Your parents, you come from that sort of community services background, and that is what led you into a political position to be able to help people with that authority. But before we conclude the program, we got about 2 or 3 minutes again. Tell us all about what's this 1199 SEIU about that you're a member of.
1199 SEIU is a union that is under the umbrella of AFL's CIO and other unions. Union is it's a healthcare workers union. So what we do is technically represent all the healthcare workers, ancillary workers get minimum wage, healthcare, minimum wage. Now that we see what we have, $15 an hour, we were the champions for that. So not many people realize how the minimum wages came about. All they know is like from $10, all of a sudden I got minimum wage 15. But we played a major role in trying to advocacy team through congressional people. We went to Congress, we had rallies, we went in rain or shine. We were there trying to lobby all including the President of the United States, saying that it is living wages increase is a human right. When the cost of living goes up, we got to bring meals to the table for our families and children. It's a common thing. But when the gas prices are $4.5, $5, you can't live with $10 an hour wages. It is outrageous. So that is one thing that motivated me was, there was a need for representation, and they needed people in the healthcare industry for us to start a union so that we all see united we stand. Union is always strong when we have enough people to represent us. I'm a not perfect person, I always claim that only because we learn from our peers and the first thing in everyone's life is you have to admit to your own mistakes. When we have that openness within ourselves, we'll always be successful. Being in the union gives me the authority to claim something, and because we make endorsements to all the elected officials.
Right.
We hold them accountable because we tell them this is what we need. We need families to be covered. healthcare worker safety, and many other things. Union is what, if you have an issue between your employer and the worker, union comes in to represent you. So if you're a healthcare worker, join the union, because you do not know the value of what a union is, because you don't know what your representation entails, because like you get pulled over. You need to know what your rights are, especially in the United States. So there are a lot of things. I mean, we can go all day, but again, people who know me, call me. I'm available 24/7. You get into some issues, call me before, I'm not legally qualified to give any legal advice, but I can put you through somebody who knows better than I am.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so we have come to the end of the program, Mr. Sajann. And you got a minute. Conclude. Say what you want to say. Tell the audience. What would you like to tell them in a couple of seconds?
I personally want to say that I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me here. And the biggest thing is, if you need me, I'm available 24/7. Shaikh Shafayat, you're more than a brother to me. I know I seek your blessings and advice all the time, but to the viewers out there, there's help if you seek it. I'm always there for you guys. I love you guys. God bless everyone.
Thank you very much. And to our viewers out there, it was really, really a pleasure and honor to have with us on today's show Mr. Sajann Qurian, and as he is known here in America, Sajann. He's a community leader. He's in the medical field. A man who wears many caps, and is a person with a great history coming from his parents, his community leadership, his interfaith, his political connections. God has really, really blessed him. I can personally vouch for that, because we have a connection for more than 15 years plus, and I've seen him in the community and how he leads and how he gets things accomplished. He's not a talker, he's a walker, as we would say. He gets things done, and we were very fortunate to have him onto this show. But as he said, if those of you who listen to this program, or you viewers out there, if there's anything you would like to know about and you would like an advice on, feel free to give us a call in Alhikmat office, and we can put you on to Mr. Sajann Qurian. So once more, it is a blessing to have all of you view this program. A pleasure and honor to have Mr. Sajann Qurian with us in today's show, and always stay tuned to Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Get everything you need at Fenn's Agri Center and Hardware Superstore, located at 243 Southern Main Road, Marabella. We carry a wide selection of hardware and agri products. Visit us in-store or call 650-3367.
Casa Nouveau Investments in Guyana. Sharia Bacchus, CEO of Casa Nouveau Investments. Brokering of sales and rentals, commercial properties, industrial properties, residential properties, and land. Property management, property development, interior design, and real estate investment consultancy. For more information, please call at 954-326-9537 or 592-643-5948. You can also email at shariabacchus3@gmail.com. Dawah and Interfaith Institute presents for the first time in U.S.A. Dawah and Interfaith training with education in world religions from religious professors and spiritual leaders of different faiths. This is a 6-month weekend course designed for brothers and sisters local, national, and international who are seeking to learn the importance of Dawah and better understanding of faith and cultures. For more information, please contact 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158. You can also contact via email at alhikmat@alhikmat.com or visit our website www.alhikmat.com. Linda M. Kaplan, PA, an immigration law firm. Over 40 years of legal services in immigration and naturalization matters. Contact her at 305-670-7665. Once again, 305-670-7665, or email her at lk@lindakaplan.com or visit her website lindakaplan.com. You can also contact for more details the Alhikmat office at 954-986-0158 or 1-800-804-0267. You can also reach out to them via email at alhikmat@alhikmat.com, the website www.alhikmat.com, and visit the Alhikmat TV www.alhikmattv.com. Alhamdulillah, for free copies of the Holy Quran, contact Alhikmat Caribbean office at 1-868-325-8276. You can also follow us on Alhikmat TV, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc. For more information, you can also contact Alhikmat's Florida USA office. You can visit our website at www.alhikmat.com or call us at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158.
Allah, ya Allah, ya Allah, His throne extends over